The stealer of time, the deceiver, a parasite to my brain, all things I didn't think a game like Balatro would be, especially after hearing about it for the very first time during the Game Awards. A Game of the Year contender. When first hearing that Balatro was even being considered for Game of the Year, I thought it to be a joke. I mean, just look at it. It looks at most like a mobile poker game that you can maybe sink 10 minutes into while taking a shit. And to be pitted up with names like Wukong, Final Fantasy, or Elden Ring, I thought everyone was losing it. But you know what they say about looks? They're awfully deceiving. At the end of December, the parasite attached. I saw it one day on the mobile app store. Now, I am by no means a mobile gamer, nor do I ever even buy mobile games in the first place. But something was calling out to me from the void, and I couldn't resist. So $10 down, I begin my first game, and almost instantly it spreads through my brain like a cancer. The premise is simple. Poker hands. Flushes, full houses, pairs, straights, all the sets you would find in a standard poker match. Each round you earn a set number of chips and multipliers for the type of hand and cards you play, with the goal of beating a bind score. And on the third bind, it counts as a type of boss, literally called a boss bind. And this will have a higher score and some type of modifier to overcome, but the twist of all of this comes with the jokers. Up until now, I have failed to mention Balatro is a roguelite, and these jokers are abilities you can acquire during your run to give you certain modifiers to increase your score. And this is where it starts to get interesting. But this isn't how to play Balatro. These are the reasons I think Balatro is so goddamn addicting. Starting with the music, it's hypnotic, ethereal. I feel like I'm floating on a cloud when the soundtrack is playing. This is something I can listen to endlessly without having to change it. Something about it just scratches the right itch in my brain. It's the comparable feeling of finally stretching in a music form. Not only this, but each soundtrack is a different type of variation of the main theme, with small differences but all rotate very well. So much so that if you were to combine all the tracks, it actually makes a coherent beat that on its own just hits to listen to. I feel like this is the beginning of the trance that Balatro puts you into. The colors in Balatro are able to pull you in. Straight from loading into the game, it's like the reds and blues are sucking you into the void that is Balatro. This game is just pleasing to look at overall, from the purples of the tarot cards to the blues of the planet cards, and the subtle and not so subtle changes of the pixelated jokers. This game is constantly fun to look at, especially when scoring. Seeing the little red jumps and multipliers to the blue jumps in the scoring of each card, and especially when the score lights up on fire in its respective colors. It just does something to me. It feeds something primal in my brain. No wonder why people gamble. The sound design is just
so good.
When choosing the cards and hearing the card flipping sound effects that go straight into the scoring, ooh, it just does it for me. Makes me feel all tingly inside. And the poker chip and multiplier sound every time you score, with the visual little jumps it does with every card and joker that's played, with the speed up it has the longer you're scoring, it all just comes together. Poker by itself is already an addicting game to play. Just look at gambling addicts. But adding in this roguelike aspect is the main reason I think Balatro is so successful at trapping me in its clutches. Having these abilities and modifiers that can change out every run in a poker game is genius. It's such a simple concept, I'm surprised that it's the first of its kind, at least from what I found. I already can sink hours into action roguelikes, so adding this to a card game and especially releasing it on the phone, it was just such a good move. This solo dev Local Thunk has decided to stay completely anonymous. He didn't even show up to the Game Awards. This means that there was a possibility that he could have won Game of the Year and not have even been there. Pretty suspicious if you ask me. It's like he's a mysterious entity casting spells from behind the scenes to get you hooked. This is also his first game ever released, and for it to be such a smash hit is incredible. And to top all this off, there's no DLC. Everything so far has been free updates. I could have easily seen microtransaction in a game like this, from card packs to card skins, but nope. Full game for $15, just the way I like it. Balatro is a game I don't think I'll ever get rid of or truly stop playing at any point, even if it's months in between. This is one of the best on-the-go time killers I've played yet. Whether you're playing for 10 minutes or a couple hours, I don't really even get bored with it. Local Thunk was really able to crack the code on his first attempt, and I wonder if he has any new games up his sleeve, because I would definitely be interested in whatever he decides to create in the future. But until then, Balatro just won't let me go.